Good morning. You say good morning too? Hi. We are here today for a very short video. It's on fitting cloth nappies. I think that lots of mums, dads, parents can worry about the fit because you hear a lot of things that if the fit's not right, then nappies can leak. It's not really anything to worry about. It's just getting a sort of system that's right. It's just that it's slightly different to disposables. So I thought I'd show you today the main principles just to remember. It might seem a little bit long-winded and like it's a really complicated task, but it's not. Just remember those steps, and after you've done it a couple of times, it will really seem like second nature and take no longer than putting on a disposable. Okay, so I've got a pocket nappy here. It's got fleece lining, insert inside the pockets, but it's all in one together, so it makes it quite easy. Differences with pocket nappies compared to Velcro is they've got two lines. Well, most of them do, not all of them, but these particular ones have two lines. So they've got popper over the belly and then popper here that will go with this bottom popper, if you can see. So that's what they call like the hip snap, but the same principles apply. So the main thing to remember is it's not a disposable, so it doesn't need to be high up on the back. It can be really low like that. We can adjust it once it's on, so actually the lower the better, so then we'll figure out how well it fits. This we then pull through. I pinch it as I go so that the elastic goes nicely into his neckline. You can see there, you want it tucked into the neckline there, that's how it'll stop leaks. And pull it up. If it's a bit too low, you can pull it forward so that the front panel sits nicely on his belly. It might feel a bit high there, but that's okay. And it sits above his legs, above his hips there. So it's nice and flat. We then grab this side. I don't know what you call these, the sides. You can pull them up and over. That way the back will be pulled up a bit if it's he hasn't got a builder's bum. And over, that will make it go nice and snug around his legs and into his neckline, like I said. And you can then pop that in there and do the same on the other side. Again, making sure it's tucked into his neckline and pop it in. This particular one popped on the second popper in. Sometimes, and I found when I did this morning, I needed to pop one side onto the third popper in, and I had one side on the second one. It doesn't matter if they're uneven. Sometimes they're between sizes, sometimes you've got different size booster in there, or you put more boosters in, so it won't fit exactly the same. But just do it as you feel. You want it so that your finger can run in between the elastic and his leg, but there's no gaps there. So it's not too tight and there's no gaps for any leaks to come out. Then we get the front and we pop those into place. Now, unlike when we just popped in his leg into place, we want this to be a bit loose. So you can see I can fit about 3 fingers in there nicely, because when he sits up, if he wants to sit up for me, you're playing with your jingle bell at the moment, but do you want to sit up? Ready? Whee! When he sits up, or you want to stand up? Okay, just sit for a second. Oh, you want to stand, okay. Obviously then his belly, you don't want it to be tight on his belly when he sits up. We lie you back down, and that, you can always adjust the back and pull it up a little bit. Make sure the fold is pointing upwards, so I can fit my fingers to point upwards rather than down. That just means any of the excess material for the size adjustment is up here, and not causing bulk between his legs, which then could cause gaps or any leaks if there's a gap. So that's just a nice little tip to make sure it's nicely fitting. Now that might seem like there's loads of little elements to it, but once you've done it a few times, it's really easy. He looks nice and comfortable there, don't you? Do you look nice and comfy there? You do. And as I said, it's low on the back, but that's fine because you've got this elastic bit here, which will keep any explosions in. It doesn't need to be high on his back. and the front is sat nicely and front, so it's not digging into the sides of his legs. And that looks good to me, but the proof will be in the wearing, won't it, mister? Okay, so I just wanted to show you a different type of nappy. This is a two-part nappy. It's actually just a close parent wrap that I've put 2 inserts that I had, an insert and a booster in, and a soft fleece liner. I really like these at the moment. They're working really well for my heavy wetting boy. But the reason I wanted to show you these is, although they are also a popper, like the other nappy I showed you, they've only got 1 row of poppers, so they don't have the hip snaps. So they work a bit like a Velcro nappy where they've just got 1 bit to worry about. You don't have the lower hip snap, the lower popper, which works over the hips, that in the previous video I fastened first to get the legs nice and tight. But you don't need to worry about it. It works very similar. So I thought I would just show you this and how this works, especially as it's a 2-part nappy. People might worry that that's different to a pocket nappy, but really the same principles apply. Okay, so again, I've just got a little something to keep his modesty in. This is a 2-part nappy, like I said, so I'll just make sure everything's sort of straight in it, because it's not all in one. Don't pull on your pants. Slide it under. Again, not too high at the back. Again, just pulling it through. If you'll give me his leg, he loves to hold on to that little foot. Sliding it. Oops. So this is why, it's quite a good demonstration, why you don't want it too high at the back, because when you pull it through, the poppers might unpop and then you'll think, oh, it's too small for him, and you might put it on a bigger setting, but you don't need to. Just pull it through. It's once the hips are over, you can tell whether it needs fitting. We push this bit up again. As long as it's on where his builder's bottom, on his bottom line is, and it's sitting over his hips, that's more than big enough. You don't need to make it bigger. And just pop it over. Exactly the same, making sure it's nice and snug on his leg, but you can fit your finger through so it's not too tight. Put it flat on his tummy, pull the back up and over, and clip it in. And now you can see that that's still nice and loose on his tummy. If it was a bit tight on his tummy, I could just pull it up and over, make sure the leg snaps are still nice and tight, but maybe put it 1 setting down to make the middle a bit looser. But that, to me,